2, 1, 2. Yeah, we're gonna do it like this today. This is how crazy we taking it now. We messing up. Yeah, yeah. This is y'all know who this is. Volothamp modulus tautology, aka Chucky Biblical, aka Chucky D, until Chuck D came along back in 1986 and stole my name. I'm teasing. Shout out to the great Carl. Ryan, I gotta remember. I gotta get Chuck D's last name. Carl Reinhold. Public Enemy. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Him and Flavor Flav. They started this political rap journey. It's not like the other MCs wasn't doing it. Rakim he admitted. He said, yo, when he did like a political kind of rhyme, he looked at John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King. Chuck D really didn't say, but his most famous one is "Fight the Power." That was the video where they was out, and I think that was Harlem. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat section or whatever. But the video, he kind of makes fun of the civil rights movement because it was more to it than the right to vote. We already had the right to vote, so that's where it gets a little hypocritical and even to try to portray that same thing today, like it's voter suppression is what our parents prior to 1960 had to do. Nah, we don't have that same problem. They they ask me if I want water and tea, and when I go to then I don't need ID. If I'm even though I'm from a red state now, it is what it is. But I didn't come on here to talk politics. I just had the beat. I needed some music or something in the background while I spit these thoughts and share some of these ideas. I'm hoping it's not too loud. Should I turn it down some? It looks low. It looks low enough. We'll see how it comes out, and my levels look all right. But this is modulus. This is Volothamp modulus tautology. What we talking about? Let me cut that. Put it up there. My son made a video. I'm gonna put a link to in the description or in the comments section. I think I'm gonna share this on YouTube too, because we talking about the Switch 2. The new hardware. That's what we really talking about, and it's nice. It's nice. So I'm sharing his video with y'all. Go check it out. Hit the like button. We really don't dive too deep because there's really not that much information out there yet. But the whole gaming community is in a uproar because it's the next system. It is the system that we've been waiting for. Everybody's been waiting for. We can front like all y'all want about the PlayStation 5. That's dope. Don't get it messed up. I would like to have a PlayStation 5 too. One day. I don't have time. But this brings a story to my mind when dealing over the past 4 years. I worked with several people, but there's one guy in particular caught my attention because I'm trying to explain to him what me and my son, or what we're trying to do for everyone, is get a Switch. No, we know the Switch 2 isn't out yet, and we're having patience. In fact, that's what I've been coaching him about is, we don't need one yet. We can get one in 2 years. We'll wait for it to come out and then come out with different color sets and things of that nature because that's what they're going to do. The first model isn't always the best model to get. So we're going to take our time. So we're going to fix up our switches that we already currently have. I was even thinking about getting him an OLED just to upgrade his so that we have the same model, and then we can use his old model for other things. But then therein is where you get the people that's like, well, why do you need 5, 6, 7 switches? Get out the business. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that little girl stuff that they be doing. But it was interesting talking to this dude because I'm over here trying to explain, like, my son had, I didn't have my OLED at the time. Or I might have. I had an OLED too. Yeah, I did. I did have my OLED. I might not have. I don't even remember. Um, but the game plan has always been okay. He has a Switch. I have a Switch. You know what I mean? We, get one for his mom, and then we can play Animal Crossing together and have three different islands, kind of a thing. And this dude wasn't listening to us being able to, hey, my cousin, she has one, and his cousin has one, and we all share our friend codes, and if everybody has a Switch and a friend code, we can just visit each other's island, and that'll be our network. It is the Nintendo way of networking. It's the same thing that Facebook does. It's the same thing that TikTok does. It's the same thing that X does. But instead of being the social media that they want, I mean, you see all the tizzy everybody got when the TikTok shut down for 12 hours, right? Is that we building our own network. Like the only way Nintendo allows you to really join each other's network is if you have to have a friends code. So, but I'm trying to explain this to this guy, but he's an Xboxer, so it's like, what I mean, he's trying to. Nah, I just give my sons or my children, Xboxes. We don't do Nintendo. Like he wasn't buying into the safety nets that Nintendo tries to input into their system so that you're not on these networks with predators. Like that's the problem with PlayStation. Is you'll go on PlayStation or even TikTok, you go on these social networks and there's adults on there, and then the adults is acting like kids aren't present on there. That's why I like what YouTube does a little bit. It's not as bad as X. X is out of control. And then trying to explain that to my son's grandparents is ridiculous. My parents, they don't care nothing about that. That's why it's all they know is TikTok bad. They don't or Facebook bad. You know what I mean? And they'll be on Facebook and they starting to see things on Facebook that they don't like, So I try to just come to my page. Like it also depends on your friends, So I try to keep my pages PG-13, for example. So I don't cuss or anything like that, I might say B instead of saying the actual B word, But now we're dealing in a society where the B means what the LGB want it to be. It's like, wait, when did it become that? And then when my parents find out what the B means in the LGB, they're horrified. And it's like, I told you about that group right there. But then at the same time, you got some of these pastors saying, well, you can't exclude them. Like, well, wait a minute, what? That's why we look at some of these pastors side-eyed. Like, wait a minute, what do you mean we can't exclude that wickedness, And then when I say that we're judging, like, whoa, no, I'm not judging. It's in the book. The book judges. Right? They listen, when you pull that book out, you see they start, no, don't bring that out, because they know it's in the book and they know it's wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm just letting y'all know, is that's how it is. Don't give me that I don't listen. No. I listen religiously. That's why y'all don't like what I have to respond to some of the things that y'all be saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, get a Nintendo Switch for the kids, In fact, let me share this video real quick in the background. Let me see. 1, 2, 1, 2. This right here is a little demo of the Switch Lite. All right, now the Switch Lite, that's for the babies, right? If your children are under 10, like 8, 7, that's all they need, right? Yeah, you can get them the regular original Switch, but all they really need is the Lite. The Lite one is the handheld. It is the Game Boy. It is the one that you can drop down the steps and it doesn't necessarily break easily. All right? The original Switch has moving compartments and and unclicking and clicking, and if they're heavy-handed and they're bending it, it is going to break, right? My son is heavy-handed. That's why it's like, son, we should get you an OLED because you're heavy-handed. You know what I mean? Your original Switch is 8 years old now. I've been able to tighten some screws and add some things and try and refurbish it as much as I can so it still works. But it's not meant for a kid that's under 10 that's not going to take care of it. I try to coach him to take care of it. Yeah, he went through every Joy-Con that we had in existence. We down to our last 2 Joy-Cons. But I need some new Joy-Cons for mine anyway. That's why I went and got me a game pad. But I'm going to get some real sturdy hand grips to put on the side of my OLED. That way I can play mine in handheld mode. Because they do have third-party, controllers and things of that nature for these devices. But yeah, see how easy I get off track because yes, I'm still working on my OLED. That's why I'm not thinking about my Switch 2 yet. Maybe in 2 years I'll get it, And plus I got a million games on OLED that I still haven't played yet. But when I'm trying to explain it to a guy, I say, yo, if you got a Switch, no, I don't have a Switch, dude. I don't do Switch. All right, you got X, all right, cool. You got Xbox, all right, cool, no problem. But now, as the industry, we sitting back and saying, yo, it looks like Microsoft is getting out of the business of game consoles. They couldn't compete, right? There's only room for 2. And Nintendo and Sony, PlayStation really aren't in competition. That's why PlayStation is just like, hey, they might come out with a handheld. At the same time, it's like, that's going to be a loss of money, because what happened with the portable, the PSP, and the Vita. I have a Vita. I like my Vita. But I don't use it as much because, my eyesight and the small screen, so it's basically my son's now. But, it is what it is. But those type of games, really, he's not really interested in yet. He still wants to play Kirby, But Kirby's a cool game. It frustrated him yesterday. I can't wait to share a little bit of that video, But yeah, the Lite is the lowest form of it. I think it's $200 for it, or it might be $250. I think it's $200, $199. It's a handheld. It's meant for the kids. That's the version you get. All right. So let me show you the next version. It's the OLED. So I'll stop that and then play this. All right. Now that's the OLED version. All right. Now the OLED version is it? I don't even know if my music is playing. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's playing. So the OLED version is the version that I have. It's it's the same size factor, but the screen is just a little bit bigger because they got rid of the black border around it. And that's the only major difference. Just a little bit more RAM in it to store a couple more games. The kickstand's a little more sturdy. I gave my son my Joy-Cons, the white Joy-Cons. So I've been mixing and matching and pasting them together. Because yeah, these things the Joy-Cons are they're not sturdy. Like he dropped it once or twice and boom, Joy-Con done. So that's why I suggest for the babies they get them the Lite. The Lite already comes in its own little kind of a case. All you got to do is get like a screen protector on it. But you can get a little thicker case to make it more. I should have got him a case that went around the whole thing, but he really doesn't play in a handheld mode. So, but he is like I would say from 10 to 14 is the regular Switch, maybe an OLED. Like they're starting to get into the OLED phase. All right, and then the next one is the Switch 2, which is coming out soon. So, all right, should I play that in the background? Yeah, we play that in the background too. So, that's the Switch OLED. And this is the video I've been running of the Switch 2. So, what's that? 14 minutes. There it is. And that's all the information that you needed. All right? Those are the family of switches that they have. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then we got a 4th switch coming out. The Switch 2, yes, is going to have some different games. So you are going to have to be mindful. Well, the kids know. They know which ones is Switch and Switch 2. The kids know. Um, the parents don't either. They don't care, like or these dudes that the guy that I was talking to. He got multiple baby mamas, so I doubt if he even give them cash or whatever. A lot of dudes be out here with multiple baby and then ain't sharing the wealth, and it's none of my business, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's none of my business. My business is trying to be with you. Like, all right, you don't play the Switch, no problem. Nah, I don't do the Xbox. You know what I mean? I would like to have a PlayStation. I did. There was a time when I did PlayStation and Nintendo. So I got a PlayStation 1, 2, 3. That's it. I stopped at 3. You know what I mean? It would be nice to get a 4. It would be nice to have a 5. Because there are a couple games, adult games, that would be because they're exclusive to that. But once I built my own computer, I didn't need an Xbox. That's what I be telling my little knuckleheaded nephew and brother, because they know they mess with me all the time because they're big Xbox fans. But I haven't talked to them since because now they've been PC gaming themselves. That's why it's funny, because now they understand what I was trying to rap to them about. Like, if it's on Xbox, it's also on PC. So I got Microsoft Windows as operating system, so I can play Xbox on my PC anyway. I don't need to buy Xbox. That's all Xbox is a glorified PC. So that's how I knew that Xbox as a idea, as a console, really wasn't long-term thinking. But they did do well with the Xbox 360, and they did well with the Xbox One. And then, but PCs are a little different. You can buy it and tune it to a little bit for yourself. So there's a couple kids, like I said before, in the neighborhood that I'm working with, where we're building our own PCs. We get our own central processing unit. We get our own RAM. We snap it together, and and then that way we can control how powerful we want it to be. And the PCs are they usually 4 times more powerful than the latest gaming console. So yes, the PlayStation 5 is up there in power, but PCs is already, I mean, if you have an unlimited budget, and I'm saying that in quotes, yeah, you having processing power that's knocking PlayStation out the water. The problem is the programmers trying to catch up with how much quote unquote power these PCs and everything have. And then therein is what I'm trying to get into talks with my son with more, is what necessarily is PC power. Back in the day, it was the number of bits. So our original consoles were 8-bit or less. That meant how long of a string that it could read. Now, what am I talking about? I'm trying my best to slow it down a little bit to understand that the original NES was 8-bit. The the Super NES was 16-bit. So that's when the Genesis came out, 16-bit. That means that it can read 16 ones and zeros at a time, pretty much. Right? That's how they understood the language, 16 at a time. So when the next systems came out, they were either 32-bit, or with the Nintendo 64 was 64-bit. So now you're dealing with a longer quote unquote string. That's not necessarily power, but it is how the language is transformed. Now all of the systems are 64-bit, period. But instead of having one processing unit, or I'm trying to say it as easy as possible to understand. Now you're dealing with ones that have multiple quote unquote what's called cores. And now not only do they have multiple cores, you have a central processing unit, which is a core. You have a gaming processing unit, a graphics processing unit, which is the video. That's the core, that's in the core now. And then you also have a third one now that they're calling that, or Apple calls the neural processing unit, and it's like, all right, now Apple's showing off. That's what's involved with the AI. So now you're dealing with multiple cores within the core, and they can have up to 24, 32 cores or 64 cores, or how many different 32-bit mini processors that we call 64 bits back in the day to today. Yes, I don't even understand what I just said. I might have made an error here and there in my description, but I'm pretty much online on how the processing works from 8-bit to 16-bit to 32-bit to 64-bit. We stopped there. We didn't go 128-bit. So instead of saying power now, instead of saying power is the processing, the bits on the processing unit, we're saying power is the random access memory or the random only memory, the memory. How many gigabytes the memory have. And that's not even power, that's storage. So as soon as I try to introduce to my son, hey, the number of polygons that it can display at once, right? Because that's where the N64 kind of changed the game. Is like, all right, now we can see how many triangles it can do. So it went from bits to polygon count. Now they're using something called teraflops or something like that. How many little triangles can it display on the screen at one time, and how fast can they move it and give it motion and give it that 3D depth? I think that's the way it works. I kind of understand it that's the way that it works. But what I'm using is the psychology and philosophy of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to translate it into a epistemological form for you to understand using science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Not showing off. I'm just sharing little bits and pieces of how it came to be. And I'm trying to do the same thing with the culture. Because there's a difference between hip-hop culture and the gaming community. They want to say the gaming culture because these politicians are going, it's the culture. That's the problem. So now I guess it's a gaming culture? Okay, no problem. It's a gaming culture. But they're not blaming the gaming culture. I'm noticing that they can continue to blame hip-hop culture, black culture. And there it is. All right, so I'm gonna share some Sabby with y'all. Should I have to go into it? This is going to be used by the fair use. I'm gonna put the link in the description, and I'm sharing Sabby because let the ladies speak first. Ladies first, okay? And then I'll share a little bit of Tim Black. In relating to what we're trying to build is a network, but it is the politicians trying to stop us from building a network. And I'll explain a little bit more after I share this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that's going to help everyone achieve freedom, justice, and equality. So this is used, I'm a fair use a little bit of Sabby Sabs. I'm a fair use a little bit of Tim Black. Because we got to stop them from lying, pointing at our culture and saying and blaming us. It's not us. We just trying to play a video game, right? If we get the network together, we can sit down and play some chess together. You know what I mean? It is that easy. So I'm a play it right now for you, and then I'll be back. I'll be back. There it is. Knowledge that begin until I finish this song, cause the rhyme gets rougher as the rhyme goes on. You sweat as you step about to get hype, or should you just listen to the man on the mic? You're physically here with me, but how could you tell if it's meant to be hip-hop if you're not mentally as well? That's Rakim Allah right there, right? Just a little bit of lyrics that we used to listen to back in the day. Where's Shabby at? Let's see. Okay, let me.
Rappers are entertainers. Okay, let's start off like this. Rappers are entertainers. There are a number of people who are really angry with Snoop, Soldier Boy, Rick Ross, and one of my faves, Nelly. I love a Nelly song. Put on a Nelly song and I'll just dance just like that. I love a Nelly song. And Nelly, because they decided to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration. I believe Soldier Boy performed at a crypto event. So did Snoop. But they are really angry that they are going to perform at this presidential inauguration. Let's get into this clip here from CNN and we'll dive into this.
Snoop and Nelly are going to be at this thing. And I think it really does beg the question whether the culture is starting to thaw to Donald Trump. I mean, are they?
About time.
I don't know. I don't think so. We definitely saw a lot of people, Sexy Red, others say, he sent me a check, so I'm good with him, the stimulus check. And I understand that there is that crew of people who are like, the stimmy check came, I like him now. Snoop and Nelly in particular are apolitical people and apolitical artists. Like you see Snoop with Martha Stewart, he's like, I fly over, I want everyone to like me. I think this is more about capitalism than politics. Somebody said, Snoop, it's the crypto ball. We got $250 for you or $150 for one night. Come do 10 songs, 6 songs, whatever. Yeah, I'm there, homie.
But
Nelly, the same thing.
There are a lot of rappers who have sided with Donald Trump. For all kinds of, he pardoned several of them.
He was giving away pardons.
Yeah,
he was giving away pardons to people, and that's why they were endorsing
But
him.
I mean,
Pause. So these are the rappers they're upset about: Snoop, Da Baby, Kodak Black, Waka Flocka Flame, Kanye West, Lil Wayne. Some of them that they are, not too happy with. But this is not new, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, when I was growing up, I remember seeing Donald Trump in rap videos, in R&B videos. He was in Bobby Brown's On Our Own video. It was one of the songs for Ghostbusters, the second Ghostbusters. He was in that video. Like, rappers used to mention Donald Trump in their songs. So that's not something that's new. What changed is when Donald Trump became president, right? And there was this co-signing from African-American leaders, we'll say leaders, okay? African-American leaders that said we cannot coalesce with Donald Trump, right? Because of some of his rhetoric, etc., which I get. What they seem to misunderstand is that if we are going to be this way, we have to be this way across the board on both sides of the aisle. Now, there were rappers that performed for Kamala Harris. Meg Thee Stallion did. Remember all the celebrities that came out to help Kamala Harris? If you're going to take that view, it needs to be applied on both sides. If you don't think that celebrities should be performing for these presidential candidates or presidents, then it needs to happen for both sides, whether it's the Republican or the Democrat. That's my take on it. I told you last year, I don't agree with celebrities endorsing politicians. I don't think celebrities should be involved in this at all. And I want to explain why. Celebrities are entertainers. Celebrities make their money by entertaining people. Okay, like all different types of people, not just people who are Democrats, not just people who are Republicans. When celebrities hold concerts, they don't say, I'm just going to perform for the people who supported Joe Biden or the people who supported Kamala Harris. They perform in front of everybody, everybody. So when you as a celebrity choose to endorse a politician, that can affect your career. There are people right now online saying cancel Snoop, cancel Nelly. First of all, Nelly's probably one of the happiest. He's always smiling. He's always smiling. People that you'll ever see. And people are like, cancel them, uninvite them from the cookout. So uninvite them from the cookout, but invite Joe Biden, invite Crime Bill Joe. What are we doing here? What are we doing with this? Let's continue.
What's going on there? What is it about these particular?
These are not the intellectuals of hip hop. These are not except for Kanye. These are typically not political people at all. Like like I said, there's some in the hood. There's this notion of he's tough. He gave us money, right? They're not.
I was reminded also, I mean, back in the 80s, Donald Trump was, at the boxing matches. He was with Don King. I mean, he was in a different place in the culture. He went into the 90s as the subject of rap songs. And just, Gail, I know you're not a rap expert, but
I am definitely not
a rap expert, but something happened in this election maybe where because of his victory, all the business people were like, you know what? Trump is no longer politically toxic. And some of these folks are making the exact same calculation on the music side as well.
They are doing exactly that. And it is an honor. It's an honor to be able to sing at an inauguration. It's an honor to be able to sing at one of the balls. It's an honor. I have a daughter who's a singer, and she was on American Idol, one of the finalists.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
And she was asked to sing at a convention. And she lost so many friends and so many fans because she agreed to sing.
Wow.
And I just think it's time for entertainers to get out of politics and entertain.
Well, they're getting into politics in some cases.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
I mean,
Shut up and dribble. Wow.
But I agree with her. Again, their job as a celebrity is to entertain. I don't think that they should come out. And again, it's their choice, but I think it's career suicide. I saw the same thing. People were canceling Carrie Underwood as well. Like, it just stay away from politics. Like, if it were me, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But if you were totally fine with Meg the Stallion shaking her little booty cheeks at Kamala Harris rally, then you should be apply that same energy to Snoop and Soulja Boy and all of them that are performing for Donald Trump. But this isn't really about them performing. It's about the fact that they're not staying in line. It's about the fact that they're not staying on the side of the aisle where they feel because they're Black, that's where they should be. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. And it just bothers me so much because if anything told us that we learned from this election is that the Black vote is disappearing from the Democratic Party. Since Barack Obama, it has continued to decrease over time. Kamala Harris lost because she lost the Black vote. Yes, she did well with Black women, but when you look at the amount of Black women and you look at the amount of Black men, she lost support with Black men. You put the numbers together and you'll see she got less support from Black people than Biden, than Hillary Clinton, and then, of course, from Barack Obama. It has been decreasing over time. I've been trying to warn people about this. So the more you tell Black people that they have to stay in this certain lane, the more likely people are going to say, no, hell no, to hell with you. This has got to stop. This seriously has to stop. But again, they are entertainers. I want to get to this gentleman here. Let's get to Boykin. Here we go.
what would you tell him?
Well, I had a disagreement with Snoop, I think, a year or two ago. Something he endorsed Rick Caruso.
Did you tell him?
He was supporting Rick Caruso, for mayor of Los Angeles, who I disagree with. And I stated that publicly as well. But I think that a lot of these rappers are not the intellectuals in the community, as Teray was pointing out, but it's also a dishonor to the Black community.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, the man who would refuse to rent to Black people in the 1970s, who tried to lead a lynch mob against 5 Black and brown kids in the 1980s for the Central Park case, who refused to allow Black casino workers to have a prominent place in his casinos in Atlantic City in the 1990s, who spent 5.5 years lying about Barack Obama's birth certificate in the 2000s, who came in office and then attacked Black people like Colin Kaepernick, who attacked Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss for simply doing their jobs as Fulton County election workers. You dishonor those people when you go and perform for this man who has done nothing but dishonor Black people. And just last year, he was calling Haitian immigrants, accusing them of eating cats and dogs. This is not somebody that Black people should be associated with and pretending to normalize. We should be challenging him. And it dishonors the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose birthday we honor on Monday to celebrate this man.
Snoop and Nelly are going to be.
Let's come out of here for a second. Since we want to go back into the past and talk about the past, let's go ahead and do that. When it comes to who we should associate with, if we're looking at what has happened in the past and the things he said about Donald Trump are true, why are we applying that same energy to Joe Biden? Joe Biden, the segregationist. Why should black people associate with Joe Biden, who co-wrote the crime bills? His crime bills caused a lot of black men to serve longer sentences for a small amount of drugs when that could have never happened. Do people understand that when we talk about incarceration, when we talk about the for-profit prison system, do people not understand that Joe Biden was directly involved in that? So since we want to talk about past, why don't we apply that same energy to Joe Biden? Joe Biden, who was friends with racist Strom Thurmond, who had a black daughter, by the way. A lot of people didn't know about that, but I did. Why don't we talk about Joe Biden's friendship with Byrd and Strom Thurmond? Why don't we talk about Joe Biden's statement where he said he didn't want his kids to grow up in a racial jungle? Why don't we talk about Joe Biden co-writing crime bills with racist segregationists that directly impacted the black community? When we're talking about who we should associate with, we have to be consistent across the board. And if it is about who did things to the black community, shouldn't you also apply that to Joe Biden as well? Why was it okay for these rappers to go perform and hang out and dance a jig with Joe Biden when he did things to the black community? We're talking about Joe Biden wrote legislation that directly impacted black men. So why aren't we holding Joe Biden to that same standard? Because it's not really about that, folks. It's about partisan politics. You see, when it's our team, they can do those things. When it's our team, you turn the other cheek. When it's the opposition, you call it out. And the problem that people are starting to notice is that when you bring up the racial issues, and I've explained this as well from my own experience, you get this on both sides of the aisle. It's easy to point fingers at conservatives and say that they are racist because it's more overt. But now people start to see, they do a little bit of their research and some of their own experience, which a lot of these Democrat talking heads on CNN won't tell you. You got racist white liberals too, boo. Racist white liberals that don't want you living in their neighborhood, don't want you coming into their subdivision, participate in activities on the local level to make sure that you stay out of their communities. We got that too.
And she missed a couple little quick points, but it's all good. Sabby's doing good, you know. Um, just keep in mind she didn't vote for either Trump or Kamala. She voted for Jill Stein. I did the same thing back in 2016. I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. And in 2020, I was just like, hey, might as well get it over with, give Trump 4 more years and we'll figure out what to do next time. But I'm not a Democrat either. I'm actually registered independent. Now they change it to none. And it's like, nah, I don't want to be none. So you can see the little logo in the right-hand corner, the Hip Hop Alliance. That's my political party, quote unquote, right? And you can check out it's at hiphopalliance.com. It is a bunch of the and I list them as my top 5 legends, hip hop legends that the politicians, they don't talk to politicians and politicians don't talk to them either because they're the original ones that said, hey, no, Martin Malcolm and Kwame Ture was friends, It's more to it than about votes. It's about us rebuilding the communities, and we're doing that. We're rebuilding the communities. Who's burning them down? That's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother topic. But it does go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But what Sabby missed one key point. And I'm going to share some Tim Black who actually caught it. she missed it, and that's to be expected. Like she, I mean, with Savvy, my concern is because she wants to keep the peace. So it's like, why are we excluding people? Why are we, not inviting people to the cookout? And we men is different, because it's, you don't want to be held accountable for bringing a traitor to the cookout, right? Because then you got to leave with them, you know. So she's real friendly with like Mark Lamont Hill, and I just point at him hey, he's not invited to the cookout. You know what I mean? If I'm having a cookout, y'all bring Mark Lamont Hill. You already should have known. Like, why you bring him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you brought him in here purposely to get kicked out the party. Like, not everybody's invited. That's just the way it is. And then it's like, well, you're not invited. I didn't ask to come to your party. Like, it is that easy. You see, sticks and stones may break my bones. Words, they don't, right? So if I'm not invited to your party, I ain't got a problem with it. But what we've seen is the DEI hires is, all right, they fired everybody, like freedom, justice, and equality, the heteronormative fatherhood like myself, and then put them in their places to replace us, because that's what Obama did. That's what they did under Obama too. As soon as I started complaining about it, it's like, it's not your turn anymore. So all right, it's not my turn. So I had to wait until 4 years is up, and because all I had to do was sit back and see it happening. So now you're seeing all of the Fruit Loops getting cut out and fired from the jobs because they were telling elders like myself to get on my knees and work like a slave. And it's like, well, you're not doing it, so you're going to. So they gave them the power to humiliate the elders, which is like, yo, this is what's actually going on, and y'all not even. And I'm explaining it, and y'all acting like y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. But there it is, right there. And then so that's why I just sit back and sip my tea, looking at Michelle and Obama act up like they not a united front anymore. I just keeping it 100. And it's not black people's fault. It is y'all not listening religiously, right? Y'all doing a lot of talking about how much we should supposed to hate Trump, and he ain't even signed. Well, he might have signed a couple by now, but it isn't in motion yet because it's got to have the turnover again, right? Instead, we not trying to turn it over. We trying to build our own. That's what we doing. So hit the like button, subscribe, share, and I'm gonna share some Tim Black real quick because I'm gonna give Tim Black's on that same little concept. He gonna let him talk for 2 minutes and then I'm out. And I'll add my little commentary after Tim drop his knowledge. Tim is just like myself. We're the same age. We're both Gen X's. We're both hip hop, and we represent that real hip hop culture. Not what those two dudes during the interview who had their noses up like they, educated Negroes. I'm just calling it like it is. So, give me one more second on this. 1 2 1 2, yeah. Because it's all about following the leader. That's real politics right there. Follow me into a solo, get in the flow, and you could picture like a photo. Music mix mellow, maintain the make melodies for MCs, motivate the break, some everlasting. I can go on for days and days with rhyme displays that engrave deep as x-rays. I could take a phrase that's rarely heard, flip it, now it's a daily word. Rakim, yo. But you notice they don't put that because Rakim don't talk politics, but he does do a rap song about John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. That's politics. History is politics. Yeah. 1 second. Here we go.
Rappers are not the intellectuals in the community, as Teray was pointing out, but it's also a dishonor to the black community.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, the man who would refuse to rent to black people.
Whoa, guys, that's it. That's why we can't stand the Democrats. That's one of the reasons. The rappers are not the intellectuals in the community. Keith is. Keith is. Sounds like shorthand for these are the dummies. That's the way they feel about us too, us working class blacks. Yeah, we're the dum-dums. In fact, I'm thoroughly convinced most of these guys would love it if we just all go away. Yeah, if we just, all of us just, if we were all deported and they could stand here and be the standard bearers for what's blackness. Yeah, the Democrats, these elites, these hand-picked Democrats that they put on TV, they take a dump on us every chance they get, just like Keith Boykin just did. Don't think it's just for rappers. Anybody that disagrees with Keith Boykin's worldview, who puts these books out for elites and liberals and black people who follow the Democratic Party, and yeah, that's what he writes to. If you don't agree with that, his ideology, if you don't agree with him politically, you're dumb. You're not. You have no intellectual value. That's the thing with Keith Boykin. That's what I can't stand. I cannot stand that about the Democrats, man. People are tired of that. People have never liked it. Remember, 40% of America doesn't vote. Keith Boykin is a lame. And he doesn't, he's in his own little bubble. But when he talks down to black people because black people disagree with him, because they don't get checks from the Democratic Party, and they don't write books to a confined circle of Democrats, hide behind your black studies just to push and shield for the Democratic Party. We're not buying into that. We don't support it. We don't support you. We're not interested in being talked down to. That Obama shit. He's on that Obama.
There it is, right? Exactly what I'm talking about, right? You know, like I can articulate it way better than that. You know, not saying that I'm better than Tim Black. I respect what he do. I'm doing game theory here. That's what we about. We about game theory. What is game theory? It's strategy. It's playing Monopoly and trying to figure out the best way to, you know, what are the best properties to buy. You know what I mean? And how to make the best deal with the other competitors. It's playing Risk. It's playing chess. It's playing checkers, right? All these games you have to strategize, right? In order for the computer to be good at it, you have to be able to translate it into a beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. One of the first programs that I learned how to put together was on the Commodore 64 was Monopoly. They wrote it in BASIC. I was able to crack it, see the code, and see the if-then statements and understanding the randomization, et cetera, and figuring out how to crack the code and actually beat the computer using artificial intelligence in BASIC, using basic programming. Now we at, you know, C++ or whatever it is. I'm just being facetious a little bit, skipping Pascal and thinking of the Trump, you know, and wanting to learn with my son as he grows up in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and share it with his friends and his friends' parents, and especially their fathers, because yes, I'm down to meet up with a couple fathers. Oh, you down with some a Mario Kart race? We can race. Father-son race or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're not excluding the women. If y'all want to race, we can race too. But don't give me this, don't talk politics. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If the children, but by the time the children is 10, they should know the Bill of Rights. Right? By the time they're 13, they should know the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment, freedom of speech. Right? Yes, the children. Yeah, great. You can talk all day. What do we want to know? Okay, cool. My dad let me talk all day. Right? Yeah, Dad, we gonna do this and this and that. He said, okay, no problem. I'll go get that dictionary. This is a true story. I said, go get the dictionary. He said, yeah, because obviously you're not listening. I said, all right. So I had to go downstairs and get this dictionary. The dictionary was like a ton. So I come all the way back upstairs with the dictionary. I might have been 10, 11, 12 at the time. And it's like, Dad, what's the problem? Like, he was, my dad was a little frustrated. He had a long day at work. We wasn't doing what we were supposed to be doing. So I had to open up the dictionary. And open up the dictionary, he said, all right, I want you to look this word up. So what's the word, Daddy? Filibuster. So I had to filibuster. He's spelling it out for me. I had to look up filibuster. And then my dad talked for 5 minutes, and it felt like 8 hours. So bring back the filibuster. That's what Trump might do. Bring back the filibuster on them, because obviously it's like my time, and all they were saying is Project 2025, Project 2025, and then they don't say nothing else. And it's like, yo, we as black people, we going, what about the platinum plan? Like, I mean, you ain't even mentioned that. Like, hold him accountable for saying that. What do you mean you're going to allocate $500 billion to the black community specifically? Because we could use that kind of help. Instead, you want to give it to Ukraine? And then use NATO to threaten us? We really dodged a bullet by getting Biden and Kamala out of there. What should I end with? More Rakim? I was a teen before I was a fiend. Before I became a teen, I melted microphones instead of cones of ice cream. You always irritated when hip hop was originated. I messed up because I'm thinking about Killer Priest. Killer Priest came back with, he remixed it. I was a king, or I am a king. Hold on. Let me go like this. There you go. He said, I am a king that spit like an Elohim, holding microphones inside of strobes of light beams. I was like, yeah, that's Killer Priest right there. Y'all not ready for that. That shout. Shout, 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 shout. Live, 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 live. Love, 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 love. God's time, God's time, God's time, God's time. One God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop life, love, one. That is God is love. Hip hop is life. Time, make sure y'all keep it holy. And money, stop wasting your time. That's the fourth dimensional illusion. It doesn't really exist. Y'all love that mammon. Y'all need to get back to loving God. And play a little video game with your children, okay? There it is. Peace.